On March 2nd, someone by the name of Meghan Remedy made an enterprising video entitled "Carnivores and Vegans Are Wrong, What They're Both Missing." I saw the video. I did not see how the video showed what vegans were actually missing, though. I have other concerns about the title alone. Here she's referring to carnivores, some humans as carnivores, and others who are vegans. One is kind of a biological classification, although it's not really used properly or correctly. And the other is vegans. It's a philosophical approach. It does include diet, but has broader implications in terms of minimizing animal suffering in general. But if we look at humans, they're in the primate order. They're not in the carnivora order. So mammals that are in the carnivora order are carnivores. Humans are in the primate order. Humans are primates. What distinguishes a carnivore, though? Mainly the canines and the carnassials behind the canines, these interlocking, sharp, prominent canines, not these dull cuspids and bicuspids behind it that humans have. See, they're flat, really kind of spade-like. Here's a carnivore now. See this one? See the teeth, the prominent canine teeth there? Those are sharp. And he's got huge muscles right here, allowing the jaws to lock in place when they clamp down with those interlocking teeth to match. That's the lock jaw. Humans don't have that. We have these complex, hey, relax. This foster dog, he is a handful. He's glad to be here, but he's a handful. I'm glad to have you too. You're going to have to sit, though. Sit, sit. Humans have these complex temporomandibular joints. Ow. No. Relax. And they allow for the back and forth movement for mastication, for these flat teeth to masticate for chewing. You don't see carnivores chewing on food. They're ripping and shearing the flesh off, and they gulp it down before those vultures and the hyenas come along to take it away. Okay, so they're gulping it down, and so that it doesn't sit there and rot either. They can't take their time. It's got to be gulped down and let their stomach acid do the work. Hey, relax. Sit, 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 and relax. Okay, all right. All right, so if you want to explore this topic further about this dietary classification, particularly in regard to classifying humans, I recently made a video entitled "Response to Bart K., who claimed humans are obligate carnivores." Although Bart also failed to support his dietary classification when I challenged him, in the end, he kind of had his temper seemed to be coming out, but he instructed me to go to his Patreon page and pay $10 to see the reason why humans are carnivores, but then none of his other followers actually stepped up to defend him in the comments section of his own video, who were already actually paying that money to do it. So if you're paying this money at the Patreon page to be this one of Bart's meat minion or meat mafia people, then step up, defend them, explain how humans are carnivores. Surely you got your money's worth. All right, that's a challenge to all of you. So the waters are being muddied right away in this video that Meghan's created by comparing this biological dietary classification with a philosophical approach, and they're not even used correctly. So I don't know which is more absurd, because in Bart's case, he's referring to all humans as obligate carnivores, whereas Meghan's referring to some humans as obligate carnivores. If you're confused, so am I. And maybe we can get some explanation out of this. Somebody can step up. But yeah, we know that humans are not obligate carnivores, and nobody is defending that view. They may be making a claim, but they're not supporting their own claims. In Meghan's case, she's saying some humans are obligate carnivores. Why is that equally absurd? Because it kind of connotes that you have. Where do you see this in nature, that you have within a species some that are obligate carnivores and others that are herbivores? You don't. You don't see it. There's just not that much variation. You like to talk about everybody's different. I know, yeah, everybody's different, but most of those differences are psychological. It's not these basic biological differences. There's not. The conservative genes don't vary that much within humans. This is on the average hundredths or 5/10% genetic difference between one human and another, in terms of the average, the types of the different types of genes we have. Whereas chimpanzees, you see 3 to 4 times more variation, although they may look similar on the surface. But anyway, enough of that. Will either of them retract their claims or try to defend their claims with reputable research? Let's see. In the meantime, it'd be clear for Meghan to just refer to animal product consumers or those who are exclusively consuming plants. That keeps it clear from the start within the video. Okay, so within her video, there are some claims that we will see are clearly false, and many more claims that are just unclear. So you couldn't refute them. You can't support them either way because they're phrased in such a way that they're just totally unclear and really nebulous. I politely asked Meghan within the comment section of her video some questions, but she avoided addressing them directly and even switched the topic in response. So I'm now making this response video to clearly expose some of the inaccuracies that Meghan Remedy did not try to actually address. Although she had some fans or some subscribers in her comment section who kind of cheered her on, none actually stepped up to effectively explain what Meghan was basing her claims on. So I'm going to go play some of this video here and then respond.
A vegan diet fails for most people. It is because it puts the body at a disadvantage.
All right. The vegan diet didn't fail you. You failed to make healthy diet choices or food choices, or failed to not make unhealthy diet choices. So that's the issue. It's not, does a diet work for you? The diets aren't working for you. They're not. You choose foods. They don't choose you. You adopt a diet. The diet doesn't adopt you. Okay, so no doubt people may yo-yo back and forth who may have disordered eating habits and bounce from one diet to another. First of all, there is no the vegan diets. There are different types or many ways you can replace animal products with plant products. It's not one vegan diet. Okay, so consider whether or not you're talking about processed food or unprocessed foods. We don't know based on the lack of information. This is kind of vague yet incorrect at the same time. If you can pull that off, she's doing it. All right, so the idea of diets working or not working for you kind of promotes it's an anthropomorphic, aristocentric perspective where you're kind of sitting here and a vegan diet comes up and it's trying to work for you. It wants to work for you. And then another paleo diet wants to work for you. And then maybe a keto diet wants to work for you. This takes out all the choice with what you're doing. Okay, so then you rely on it creates confusion. Am I a carnivore? Am I an herbivore? We're all so different, right? We're all, and then we can rely on practitioners such as Meghan. Meghan referred to herself many times as a clinician and practitioner. She can sort that out for you. Isn't that how it works, Meghan? You can do that for them. So you can take the responsibility right out of their hands in doing that. So vegans generally are healthier than non-vegans in many respects. But if you want to know how one can make healthy diet decisions based on these categories of diets, don't ask the ones that fail. Ask the ones who are successful at those diets. And there you'll get your answers. Not the ones who really exploited the diets. I'm going to play more. Here I'm at 17 minutes and 54 seconds into the video.
So some people cannot convert beta-carotene to retinol. They just genetically cannot convert it at all. This makes these people obligate carnivores because of this genetic adaptation.
No. And when I politely asked Meghan to provide a reference to one of the two main points, and this was one of them, about whether or not there are some people who cannot convert, and or whether or not some people are obligate carnivores, she couldn't. Okay, she said her response was, you can see it. It's on in her comment section. Her response was, "It's not my job to reference everything I have ever learned in a relaxed discussion video. Would take way too long," she said. But nobody said it was your job to reference everything. I just asked to please provide a reference to support either of your claims that some humans are obligate carnivores, or that some people cannot convert beta-carotene to retinol, or I stated if you're unable to do this, please at least reveal the specific genetic adaptation or the set of genes that you are alluding to, since these were the main points of your enterprising video in which you emphatically stated that there are people who absolutely cannot convert beta-carotene to retinol, making them obligate carnivores. Why is that such an unreasonable job or request on my part? Okay, I'm not going to go through all that. You can read that. There's more to say, but I'm going to skip through that in the interest of time. I want to keep this video succinct. If you want to go and look at that, you can see that. So I'll expose some inconsistencies here. And again, does the field of nutrition really need more myths and misinformation being promoted? Why not be accurate? Why not support? Why not look for references? Okay, get it right. I'm going to just quote here before I go forward. It is the consensus, just to officially, the consensus among licensed nutritionists and dietitians that not only can all people adopt vegan diets, but they can be healthier doing so. So I'm going to quote here. Note, it is the position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics that appropriate plant, vegetarian, including vegan diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and overall nutrition as assessed by the Alternative Healthy Eating Index is typically better on vegetarian and vegan diets compared with omnivorous diets. This is not because everybody making all these researchers are all vegans. That's not the reason. But this is from Melina, Craig, and Levin in 2016, page 1970. If you want to see that, I'll reference it. I'm not going to hide these. Also, the NIH, National Institute of Health fact sheet updated October 5, 2018 for health professionals for health information on vitamin A mentions nothing about genetic variation as a cause for vitamin A deficiency. Doesn't mean that that doesn't contribute, but they only address diet solutions to fulfill vitamin A. You can't change your genes, you can't change your diet. Makes sense, okay? They're within their fields. So whether from plant foods or animal products, it is a choice to consume plant or animal products. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So whether it is from lycopene, beta-carotene, etc., different carotenoids are converted at different rates, like any other nutrient, to vitamin A. Okay, so there are over 500 genes that are responsible for regulating retinoic acid. This according to D'Ambrosio, Clugston, and Blanner, 2011. I just asked Meghan to name one gene that causes any human to not be able to convert carotenoids. Even dogs, real carnivores, can convert carotenoids to vitamin A. So before you rush to get genetic testing to see if you are an obligate carnivore, I can assure you that dietary carotenoids from various plant sources can compensate for all genetic variations in the conversion rates. The biggest conversion factors are not genetic, they're environmental, dietary specifically, in nature. Lung, as well as others in 2009, and Tang in 2010, did report that conversion of beta-carotene into vitamin A is highly variable in up to 45% of healthy individuals. Nonetheless, diets rich in carotenoids are associated with reduced risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease, and other popular degenerative diseases. So really, if there is one thing humans in developed nations need, it is the reduction of these diseases. Very important. So, still no biological imperative for humans to consume meat when sufficient plant food is available. But let's say someone still thinks that humans are the only exception and that some members within the species are carnivores while others are herbivores. Or perhaps the Academy of Nutrition and Dietitians are incorrect in stating that all stages of life a vegan diet is generally healthier. If there's still any doubt that there are, in fact, no human obligate carnivores, then one can simply go to the scientific literature and look for an exception. And so type in a Google Scholar search. Type in some humans are obligate carnivores. What you get is your search results. Some humans are obligate carnivores do not match any articles. This whole notion that there are some humans who are obligate carnivores is similar to the blood type hype diets that I referred to. These myths that are still around, which are, of course, also based on no scientific evidence whatsoever. whatsoever and equally absurd. And this is actually quite scary to me, that a practitioner would assume that there are some obligate carnivores that are humans. Let's play more of this video.
People who can convert beta carotene to retinol, it is at a very low level, so it's usually a 1 to 3 ratio. So the amount of beta carotene that you're getting is a small amount of retinol once it is converted. This puts an extra metabolic load on your body to be converting beta carotene into retinol.
Somewhat false and somewhat true and dangerous in the context of her video and the kind of message she's trying to promote. So Meghan claims that there is a higher metabolic load on the body to convert carotenoids to vitamin A. Well, that's an oversimplification that ignores the fact that during that important conversion of carotenoids to retinol, there are feedback mechanisms by which the conversion is regulated based on the vitamin A stores in the individual, as the body naturally prioritizes vitamin A absorption. So that fluctuates depending on the stores. This is an important regulatory process because vitamin A toxicity can occur through consumption of meat, particularly liver, as the body does not have the same regulatory mechanisms for preformed vitamin A in animal products. Okay? The reason that vitamin A supplements are generally derived from plant sources today is because high concentrations of carotene from plants are known to be safer than retinol in animals, a detail that was not even introduced in her lengthy video. If this natural process Meghan refers to as a metabolic load, which is loosely referring to retinoid metabolism as draining, that's what it's saying, that's what she's saying, if that were necessary or unhelpful for the body, then supplement manufacturers would just use preformed vitamin A instead, based on the status of the retinoid within humans, but based on the status of the retinoid within humans, carrier proteins, they're called RBPs, are synthesized and secreted accordingly. RBP secretion from hepatocytes, that's liver cells, is blocked upon retinol repletion and restored during times of dietary deficiency. These internal feedback mechanisms are important and not just reflections of metabolic load. And the point again is that preformed vitamin A from animal products does not trigger this crucial regulatory system, so vitamin A toxicity may occur only from animal products. Okay, let's play more of this video. But I'm going to skip over to this ended. I stopped here at 1836. There's more. I'm going to bump up here to 20 minutes and 23 seconds because this kind of gives you the big picture view that she's trying to get to, I think.
In the animal form. Now.
All right. So right there at 2025, it is humorous to me because she's looking up almost as if she's imagining it. I know there's this myth that looking up to the right doesn't actually mean you're imagining something. This is what psychologists used to say. But she's doing it a lot. It does seem like she's like looking for something, some inspiration. I don't know, making it up. It seems like that way. It just does. I know that that's supposed to be a myth and that just looking to the right doesn't mean that. But she's doing it in the video. But more importantly, let's listen to the words.
This also goes for iron.
Oh,
so
no.
Your body has to turn the elemental form of iron into heme iron, which most people cannot even do.
Oh, wow! No, that's not true either. I didn't catch that until I played it slowly there. No, that's not true. No, most people cannot even do. Wow, I'm not even gonna bother asking for a reference from that. Okay, I'm just gonna. Not trying to shame anybody. I really am not. But you will not provide a reference for that, and I'm not going to demand that you do. I'm not going to, bring this up again. The fact is that just like vitamin A, plant iron, that's non-heme iron, is absorbed in a regulated fashion. The variance is around 10 times, is a 10 times difference in between the low conversion rates and high conversion rates, and that's all based on the iron stores that the body has. Whereas when it's animal products, there is some variation in the amounts that's being absorbed in the heme iron, but the variance is only like a difference of factor of 3, so much lower conversion rate, that are not as influenced as much by dietary factors and iron stores. What this all boils down to is that with high iron stores, consuming heme iron from animal products is the only place it comes from, you are much more likely to overdose. It's virtually, I said, you can do it through elemental iron just if you're taking supplements, but from plant iron, within the context of the whole food, unprocessed, you cannot get iron overload or iron toxicity. You can get it from animal products, just as with vitamin A. Look, she goes on to talk about cholesterol and how she's assuming that she's saving the body energy, this metabolic load by consuming dietary cholesterol. Doesn't work that way. It's not absorbed in a regulated amount through animal products. It's not only is it unnecessary, it's not a necessary nutrient. It only poses risks. Humans synthesize all the cholesterol needed. It's just the same with those other nutrients. And anyway, comment below. I'm gonna stop it here. There's much more. I only covered a couple minutes of it. There's much more in there, but it's the main points that are not being supported by any references. Thank you for watching.